Hi everyone, this week's video blog is about the state of emergency because of the floods here in Ottawa. I want to begin by thanking our first responders. I want to thank the thousands, more than 15,000 volunteers and who have filled more than 1 million sandbags over the last 10 days. We're going to do a tour of the command center and their most recent update on the flood levels in West Carleton, in Britannia, and in Cumberland. We're also going to meet with Brian from the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority to talk about the watershed and some of the predictions that were planned and what does it mean to be at peak. And we're standing here at the Ottawa Rowing Club. You've heard, obviously, and you see the impact of the Ottawa River flooding on the Rowing Club. We'll meet with the president of the board, Peter Thompson.
We're at a turning point in our emergency response. We're reaching peak water levels today in the west and central areas of the city that have been affected, and we're expecting to reach peak levels in the east tomorrow. As stated before, water levels are above peak levels of the 2017 floods, but the good news is that they haven't reached the levels we were initially expecting. We know that a lot of damage has been done to homes and properties, but we've also helped save many homes with our volunteers and our partners. The situation seems to be stabilizing at this time, but we continue to actively monitor water levels as wet weather and the spring thaw from up north are ongoing variables. Combined with the efforts of the volunteers, we've been able to provide critical assistance to residents, such as making more than 1.5 million sandbags available, providing close to 850 wellness checks, and close to 210 work orders completed by Team Rubicon. Your outstanding assistance over the last week reinforces that we live in an incredibly caring and supportive community. Even though we are reducing our call out for volunteers, this does not mean that we're backing down. The city and its partners are still engaged in an active flood response, and all affected sites continue to be fully staffed and closely monitored. And I assure you that we'll continue to support our residents in as many ways possible. We're getting ready and making plans for the next steps as we progress through this situation and into recovery mode.
Hi, my name is Brian Stratton. I work for the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority and I'm the Manager of Engineering Services.
Brian, thank you for taking the time this morning. I know it's been a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
We heard from the city that the levels have peaked. So maybe before we go into the specifics, what does the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority do in the area?
Well, basically our job is the flood forecasting and warning for the Rideau Valley watershed, but that also includes the Ottawa River watershed because the Rideau Valley kind of touches the Ottawa River between Britannia and Cumberland. What's been,
obviously we had a really lot of snowfall over the winter, a lot of cold weather.
Yeah.
So what did that mean for you in terms of warning the last few months?
Basically there's two different systems. So I'll talk first about the Rideau Valley. So in the Rideau Valley we had, coming into the spring, coming into early March, we had a way above average snowpack. So we were very concerned about flooding within the Rideau Valley system. So what happened was between early March and basically mid-April, 6 weeks, all of that snow melted very slowly. So it was kind of ideal conditions to just really slowly melt away, and we didn't have any big rain events in there. We had a couple that were a little bit bad, but overall the Rideau Valley fared very well in terms of flooding. The exception right now is the reservoir lake. So on the top of the Rideau Valley watershed, there's the Bobs and Christie Lake. Those are lakes that are filled during the spring, and then they help feed the Rideau during the summer months. So those right now are at capacity, and with these last couple of weeks, we've been getting a fair amount of rain. They're at flood level, but nothing major, but they're definitely flooding a little bit. We work very closely with the Ottawa River Regulation Planning Board, and they are an agency that basically tries to understand what's going on the Ottawa, and they give it, this time of year they give us daily forecasts. They actually give us a forecast at 9 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock at night. And what that forecast shows is basically the current level, the peak level, and then they also have the 2017 level. So they've been predicting the last, we would say 10 days or more, these various levels, and so the water's been going up, and it became very evident early on that we were going to exceed the 2017 levels, which were historic levels. And so we've been trying to gauge and tell the public, well, how much higher than the 2017 levels are we going to get?
Good morning, my name is Peter Thompson. I'm the president of the Ottawa Rowing Club, and welcome to Flooded Shoreline again in 2019.
Thank you for taking the time.
We
were just meeting for coffee a few weeks ago and talking about some of the activities down here and some of the improvements that have been ongoing. Behind us we have the two boathouse and the Ottawa Rowing Club building, now a heritage building.
Celebrating our 152nd year this year.
152nd year in history as the club kept records of the the Ottawa River levels?
I can't say that we have. We were as surprised as most were in 2017. Obviously, there have been floods in the past. Most of those floods in the past were related to log jams or ice jams on the river. And over time, of course, we got better at managing those floods. So there are historic pictures of floods on the river.
Yeah.
But our current climate-related impact is new.
So we're for those at home who don't see necessarily the full picture, we're standing in the ramp towards the clubhouse. Usually you can walk right in front of the white building behind us. That's where the boats are located. That's where the club's activities are, with usually the docks and so on.
Yeah.
Tell us about the preparation. You knew the levels were coming up. What did the club do to try to prevent some of the impacts on the?
As I say, in 2017, we really had to adapt on a daily basis. It was an experience that no one else had. This year we had a little warning, so we got in early. We removed anything that might be damaged from the lower levels of both boathouses, put them up on the second levels, tied down anything that would float away. Certainly things are out of position, but they're tethered to the shoreline, so we're in a recoverable state. The impact to us, the more serious impact, is the impact on our training schedules, access for our athletes, and of course on our enrollments in the spring season.
So usually the spring season for the Ottawa Rowing Club would start when?
Well, it would have started a couple of weeks ago. Right? We had a crane scheduled to put our docks in 2 weeks ago. And those docks may not go in for another week or two. That has a direct impact on when we open up the club.
Sure.
We have major international competitions in 4 weeks for our high school program. So the opportunity
indoors right now?
Yes. So the opportunity for those athletes to represent Ottawa, represent their schools, and do well directly impacts